Hey, what's up, YouTube? Mighty Mike is in the house. And when I say I'm in the house, I mean that literally because it's straight up coronavirus. We on lockdown. It's been 2-some weeks. So with everybody being in the house, what does that mean? That means that you're looking for things to do to pass the time. You can dust off them old consoles, that old PS2, you know what I'm saying? Go and whip that out and get your gaming on, right? All right. So let me get to the point of today's video. Since I got this time on my hand, let me talk about something that was dope about gaming back in the 90s, maybe the 80s, and maybe even on into the early 2000s. What was dope was the gaming magazines of the time period. So what am I talking about? How does kids know, well, how did people know, adults or whoever was a gamer, how did you know what was hot, what was not? Well, you did something called read, R-E-A-D. Yeah, I know that ain't some kids do today. Everything got to be fed to them on YouTube videos. But we knew what games was hot because we subscribed. We had magazines, okay? This one right here, my subscription of choice was Electronic Gaming Monthly. Now, these are my original magazines from my subscription. And you might say, Mighty Mike, why do you still have those magazines? Them things are like 20 years old. Well, I'm going to explain why I still have them right now. Number one, this is the introduction of the PS2 into America. It came out in Japan, and this is its introduction into America. First thing I want you to see is, look at how thick these magazines were back then. This is before the internet really kicked in. Like, when you bought a magazine back then, you got substance. You didn't just get some cheesy, flimsy piece of paper. Like, these things was full of screenshots, full of articles, full of videos, not videos, but full of stories, I should say, posters. Like, look at this one right here, Star Wars Jedi Starfighter 2. Oh, there it is. The greatest system of all time, the PS2. Entire story, just about everything the PS2 can do. So by the time I bought a PS2, I already knew it was cold. Like, I knew it was going to be the greatest thing ever. All right, now, today, every time you turn on YouTube or watch a video, it's What Culture Gaming or Watch Mojo or some British dude with a British accent talking about video games. Because it's like every video you click on is, welcome to such and such, such and such. I'm such. All right, that's a bad British accent. But why do British people make so many gaming videos? Like, what's the deal? All right, so how do we know what the top 15 games was back in the day? We read about it. That's how. Top 15 games of the millennium and their sequels for 2004. Okay? Now, I'm not going to get into it and try to find it because I'll be flipping pages and that would bore you. But, example, we got Solid Snake. We got that cat from Splinter Cell, Link. We got some NBA. There's a Master Chief. I don't know, Sims. All right, Mario. So those are probably the games that was in it. And look at that, EGM presented by MTV. Does anybody even watch MTV anymore? Like, is that still on the air? All right, another one. Final Fantasy X. Remember when this came out? This magazine, I learned all about it from reading this magazine, okay? So when it finally came out, I'm like, oh man, this game can talk. State of Emergency, remember that? Now, one of the cool things about these magazines is that they also gave you reviews. So here's Final Fantasy X, and it got a gold review from EGM, and there's the scores, and, you know, 3 different reviewers will review. Jade Cocoon 2, Guitaro Man, Drakan. They didn't like that too much. So here's the review crew. Game of the month. What is it? Super Smash Brothers Melee. They gave that game of the month. No deal. Remember Xbox and GameCube? The verdict, which one you should buy? First, look at how thick this is. You got your money's worth when you bought these magazines back in the day. Ain't no if and a but about that. Let's do a quick comparison. All right, so you know how you go into GameStop and you buy something and then they jack you and say, would you like to subscribe to blah, 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 blah for a discount, yada, yada, yada. Well, I was a sucker and I did it. And this is kind of recent. And I bought the GameStop subscription. Let me show you this magazine. This is what you got when you got that GameStop subscription, Game Informer. Look at this little piece of thin tissue paper. Let's do a comparison. Here's what I'm used to. You see that? Here's what you get from gaming magazines today. Now, this is a lot more recent, like Shadow of Mordor, like it's old, but it's way more recent than this, okay? But around this time period, I said I'm done with the magazines because they don't make them like they used to. And to show you I'm not joking, let me show you some more. Here's GameStop saying, your subscription about to expire. I'm like, please expire. Look at how thin that is. That's another one. Look at that. I mean, what's the point? Here's another one. And that's Witcher 3. The Order 1886. Look at that. I'm going to just pull up what I'm used to one more time. Do you see a difference? I for sure damn do. Get that nonsense out of here. Final Fantasy. You see that? Final Fantasy everything. New screens and info. Let's see what the top game was back then. You know, they even had little cartoons in there. This magazine was dope. Jack 2, remember that? Jack went hardcore. That scared the hell out of me. It's the wind blew. Just opened my door. I'm like, I'm about to get jacked while I'm making a YouTube video. I'm like, that would suck. Psychonauts. They still talk about that game like it's a straight up rare classic. I ain't never played it. All right. I'm just flipping through because if I try to sit up here and read the magazine, that'll bore you to death. But these things were well done. They had plenty of stories for every system, not just PS1, PS2, every system. I'm trying to get to the reviews. All right. So what's the game of the month? What's the game of the month? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon had a game on PS2? Really? NFL Game Day, Time Crisis, Mega Man, Hunter, The Reckoning. All right. Beautiful Joe. That was popular. All right. Twisted Metal. All right. So I think y'all get the point. Gaming magazines were dope back in the day. They ain't no more, so ain't no point in reading them. So let me show you some more just from my original subscriptions. We got PSP versus DS. Remember Final Fantasy, Advent Children, Before Crisis, Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus. Remember that whole thing? They hit you with all of that. Was any of them good? I did Advent Children and Crisis Core. I did those two. I still got to play Dirge of Cerberus. Remember MGS3? Splinter Cell. 15 RPGs coming out. Yeah. Here's some more Snake Eater. What's this? What's that? Ghost Recon. Okay. What's that? Xbox 360, PS3. Look at that controller. Anybody ever had that? And you can see these magazines were quality. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Now, trust me, I've heard a whole bunch of people make comments. You sound like CJ. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I've only spent like maybe 7 hours playing GTA San Andreas. But I will admit, it was funny as hell, especially early in the game when they robbed that store. Like, I was laughing so hard after that. And we can't forget you, Microsoft folks, Halo 2. I think that's probably the best one. What say you? All right. And then lastly, the greatest 200 games of their time. Like I said, these days, you got to watch a YouTube video for that. Nah, we not going to write it out and put it in a magazine for you to enjoy. No, you got to listen to some British dude tell you what the greatest 200 games are now. Can't just read it myself. Nah, that's too much work. No. So anyway, I think y'all get the point of this video. Back in the day, gaming magazines were better. They were worth the subscription. And as always, the PS2 reigns supreme. Mighty Mike out.